It honours the result of the referendum, it protects jobs, security and our union, but it also represents the very best deal that is actually negotiable with the EU. I believe in it, as do many members of this House, and I still believe there is a majority to be won in this House in support of it, if I can secure additional reassurance on the question of the backstop.
Food and water ran out 4 days ago.
As a result, if we went ahead and held the vote tomorrow, the deal would be rejected by a significant margin. If you take a step back, it is clear that this House faces a much more fundamental question. Does this House want to deliver Brexit?
All good? Ready to go? Turn my voice up a little bit. Oh, I've got that everyone watching, the whole family.
Are you ready to go? Are you built in the house that I built, in the booth that I built?
I know people tune in every Sunday to listen, but even when business is good, we still manage to do the podcast. NPK.
Podcast 170, Spannabis overview and the future of UK hydroponics. But it's not as sinister as we all think. We're literally talking about Brexit. So for everyone watching live on YouTube, have you got worries, concerns, questions? Me and Barry know fuck all about Brexit, really.
I know, absolutely not. I'm going to look like a fucking mong at the end of this.
Barry knows as much as I knew at the beginning of the day. I've spent the morning going through what it really all means. So I've got a little bit of a clue, and Josh has got a lot of a clue. So between the three of us, Josh has got a mic today as well. Coatsy, turn them up. Josh, say hello.
Hello.
You're as fucking bland as fucking Barry here, aren't you?
Yeah. Dad, innit, Josh? You go. Yeah, it's me, Barry. Yeah, ooh. Not all fucking celebrities, you know. We're new to this sort of shit, mate.
I'm the best. I'm the best celebrity. I can walk around town and nobody knows me.
That's because no one genuinely knows you.
I know, because I'm on a podcast. And it's only me voice. Start speaking, you want to see the crowds that surround me. Stephen! And then they've mistaken me for Harry Potter. And they all
Ned Flanders.
Away. Ned Flanders, yeah. Except I'm not yellow with blue hair or brown hair, he's got, hasn't he? So, podcast 170. We've just got back from Spannabis, haven't we? Yeah, we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Barry is an absolute pleasure to fly with, aren't you?
I fucking hate flying, lad.
It's fucking great. To be honest, Barry was so nervous. There was pools of sweat in my hand looking at him, seeing how nervous he was. I was thinking, well, if Barry's nervous, well, why aren't I nervous? I started getting nervous.
Flying does it. It's just that takeoff, lad. I just don't like the takeoff. No, once I'm up there, sound, because just get on the wine.
Do you know why you don't like takeoff? Because that's where all the accidents happen.
Yeah, I just don't like taking off. I hate that bit going. I love the speed down the runway. I think, yeah, this is fucking shifting.
Look at them engines. Yeah, look at that horsepower.
It's when, like, as soon as the wheels come off the floor, it's like, imagine in a car, he's gone from first gear flat out to going into fourth gear. I think, oh, hang on a minute, lad. You know what I mean?
We're fucked now.
We're fucked now. Put your foot down, you mad bastard. You know what I mean? But
do you know what I watch out for? Every time if I'm on a flight, and if you're ever on a flight with me, you can watch this. I'm like, I'll sit there dead quiet, and I'll look at the, what do you call them?
Air hostesses.
The air hostesses or air host.
Pervert.
Air host.
Yeah,
what's a male air host called? Is he just an air host? Or is he an air hostess?
Isn't this about Brexit?
I think they're all just
and Spannabis.
Air hosts. Yeah. They're all air hosts. They're hosting us in the air. So I look at them, and if they look happy and normal, then I'm happy and normal. But as long as if they look nervous, then I look nervous. Did I ever tell you the story about I was in Egypt, one of my very first holidays away with me missus, and we went to Egypt, flew there, great, got the Egyptian bug troubles. Came back, wasn't feeling great, so I got my head down. And it's like a middle of the night flight. And I woke up, and the missus is asleep next to me. And I woke up and I seen that the air hostess flew past me. It's like, fucking hell, she's not worried. It's like 10 o'clock at night, everyone's asleep. And I went, I can smell burning. she's just ran past me and I can smell fucking burning. And then as another air hostess ran past me, she said, the engine's on fire, the engine's on fire. And I just fucking went white, shit myself. I'm like, sweat pouring out of my hands, down my face. I've got the shakes, looking at Shell next to me thinking,
this is it.
Like, do I wake her up and make her? Or do I just leave and she was asleep and she never knew anything about it? Decided to be the good person, left her asleep. I'm just there like, which engine's on fire? I wonder, can we glide down? Panic stricken. Next minute, she walks out with an onion pie. She actually ran past and said, the onion's on fire, the onion's on fire. And the onion pie was on fire. And I felt so much relief.
What fucking flight of what fucking aeroplane company have you been flying with? But I've never heard of an onion pie.
Onion pie? The onion was on fire. The onion's on fire. That's what I heard.
Fucking onion pies.
I was half asleep. The onion pasty's on fire. She might have said something like that. My brain's gone, the engine's on fire.
Have you ever heard of an onion pasty, Josh?
Beef and onion pasty. Maybe there was just an onion in the microwave and it had gone on fire. Who knows? But I shit myself. So, everyone that's just joined on Instagram, this is a Spannabis and a Brexit podcast, even though I've just gone off on a bit of a tangent about
I love a good rant, Asty.
No, it wasn't a rant, it was just a story.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because you shit yourself when you're flying. So I was just telling
I'll
you
openly admit, mate, I shit myself, lad.
Like, literally?
No, not literally.
Okay,
Come
okay.
on, mate. I shit myself flying, I do. As soon as I get on the plane, I think, is this the fucking... Was that fucking thing the last thing I'm going to see here? What's going on, lad?
I always give 2 taps on the outside of the airplane, like, come on, girl, get us there safely.
Fuck that, mate.
I do. So, Spannabis, phenomenal weekend.
Yeah, boss.
Phenomenal. It was the busiest Spannabis I have ever been to.
I've
And that was my 7th Spannabis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th Spannabis. Busiest one I've ever been to. To be honest, I've been getting busier and busier each year.
Yeah,
but that was ridiculous.
That was like... I missed it last year. Was the entrance and everything all on the opposite side?
The entrance was where you normally think it was. They've switched the entrance and the exit round, and I've never seen queues like it. If you were there on the Friday, it was the queues were ridiculous. Get your tickets was ridiculous, but once everyone was in, everyone was having a good time. So to give you some idea, there will be we've got gorgeous drone footage all over the crowds. You'll be able to see exactly how many people were there. It's phenomenal. So, some facts. Guess. How many visitors over the whole weekend?
25,000.
Yeah. You've read that, haven't you? No, you fucking bastard. 25,000 people over the weekend. 4,000 invitations. I don't know what that means. I never got a fucking invite. I don't know what 4,000 invitations means. But it also says 3,500 registered professional. Are you a registered professional?
Nope.
Am I a registered professional? If I'm a registered professional, it's going on my Instagram profile. Spannabis registered professional. Sounds good. But there's 3,500 of them, whoever they are. And these 3,500 registered professionals gained knowledge about hemp and its alternative uses thanks to more than 300 exhibitors.
Is that how many there was?
300. That's what they're telling us, yeah.
I felt like more.
There was like... compared to last year,
I think they've opened like
2 pavilions.
Yeah, there was like 4 things.
There's the main pyramid, and that was just chocker as always. And then there's like 1, 2, 3. There's 3 other tents. There's normally 1 other tent at the back. 2. They definitely had an extra tent.
And there were stalls outside, though.
Yeah, there was. There was all stalls outside, wasn't it? It was huge. If you didn't get to go, then you really need to start looking on getting in there next year because it was great.
If that gets any bigger, though, that won't be getting held there again. If it gets any bigger, mate, that's going to have venues just too small.
It is actually, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like ram-packed.
Yeah. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad walking around. It did get a little bit hot, but I remember 2 years ago, someone actually had a CO2 meter and it was reading something like 800, 900 parts per million when our air, it was like double the CO2 outside and people were getting all lightheaded and it wasn't good. So there you go. I'm trying to keep on top of the comments here as well because you don't get to see them on Instagram. But I'll revisit comments. So if you write a comment or this is a mostly Brexit podcast. If you've got any worries, concerns, what's going to happen to the UK industry after Brexit, comment away on YouTube or on Instagram. So to the partners. So we're going to talk about the partners within the Spannabis arena. So we had the AutoPot stand. Did you visit it?
Yeah, it was posh.
It was lovely, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were promoting 2 products on their stand. The extra-sized valves.
Yeah,
you want to see them? So I haven't used one yet. I don't think they're out there to be bought at the moment. They're still just, I think they finished all the testing. They were promoting them and they'll be available for release soon. But apparently you can grow anything with these exercise valves. I think it's a way of letting organic growers being able to use AutoPots to its full ability rather than having to top feed with your organics and bottom feed with water.
It's bigger piping and that, isn't it?
Much bigger piping. So the valve is much bigger than it's ever been. So that's for people that like to run thicker nutrients. You can run it now in an AutoPot. And their tray systems. So they've now launched tray systems. They've got modular tray systems, which will do 4 plants. They've got the 8 plants. They're just AutoPot's starting to produce a lot of systems that'll cater to every grower. So that's what they were producing. They also had lots of plants in there as well, didn't they? They were growing a lot of greenery. So rather than just having the system on display, there was lots of plants grown. It was a really, really nice stand. And congratulations on winning Best in Show for their AutoPots.
They deserve it though, don't they?
They do. Very, very good system. And they've been recognised. So really take me out off to AutoPot. Well done. Well done. Then we had SANlight. They were in, they were like in Pavilion 2. And what were you going to say?
In Pavilion 1.
Was it? And that was like the second biggest pavilion, wasn't it? SANlight had their Q6W and their Q4W on the stand. The Q6W absolutely smashing. Had lots of attention. And the more I get to know them, the more I'm impressed by them. Like ultimate and German efficiency. We will be seeing them very soon. Hands-on. We'll be going to Switzerland to have a little look at the SANlight. I want to call it a facility. I was going to say arena. What a much better way facility was. Arena, facility. Facility is much better. Facility. The SANlight facility, which is phenomenal. So I can't wait to show you all that. Can filters, they were displaying some new stuff.
The 14-inch.
14-inch.
3,900.
3,900,
Super
exactly.
silent. And they've done it in a QMax.
So they've done it in the IsoMax, haven't they?
IsoMax and QMax. Really.
Now, so we're back live. That's Josh. You messaged me. You've just caused the live on Instagram to stop. Stop it, Josh. Josh from Global Air Supplies. Just to put you in the shit. So, where was I? Can filters. The new 14-inch 3,900 meter cubes of hour and air an hour, IsoMax and QMax. What did I do wrong? I thought it wasn't that powerful.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think it was that powerful?
I don't know.
Because the size of the hole was much bigger.
The size of the hole was much
so
bigger,
I was like, put my hand in.
It doesn't feel like it's drawing that much, but it is.
So like I'm used to use. So if you're using a 3,000 fan,
8-inch, 10-inch,
8-inch, 10 to 12, then it seems like a lot more power. You're like, yeah, that's powerful. But the 14-inch, it was moving a lot of air, and I was like, that's not 3,900. Then I thought it's a much bigger hole. So if you do buy one of these fans and you put your hand in front of it, it doesn't feel powerful.
For the big unit, the way it was, for the big lump that it was quiet, mate.
It was quiet. It was very light as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you're thinking this monster fan's going to be hard to hang. It wasn't. It was very, very quiet. And the QMax was super silent. Yeah. And I was very impressed with both fans. CANNA, free drinks, free sweets, big social area, gorgeous stand.
Yeah. They had sweets on this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
We couldn't keep little Morgan away from me.
I know. But he was queuing up like a little dick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was queuing up.
Queuing up like a peasant. Barry just goes in there and just helps himself. Pick and mix Barry, we start calling him now. We have to make a list, a book of all Barry's nicknames. So they, once again, had a great stand. Always one of the best stands, kind of.
Stand for socialising on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's where you all congregate round.
All right, they had a display of nutrients out and that, but it was mainly just like, just come and get your drinks here and come and get your little snacks here, and there's all the couches for you. And that was CANNA Spain. So that was CANNA Spain stand, because CANNA's got all the different hubs around the world. That was CANNA Spain that were exhibiting at Spannabis. And then Revolution Micro, they weren't at Spannabis this year, but they mostly do the US shows. They're really, really big in the US. If you are listening and you're from the US and you're any one of the shows, then just check out the Revolution Microelectronics. They're at most shows in the US. Go check out the HPS, the Metal Halide, and the ridiculously bright Avicii LED light, which is tunable. So I went to see all of our partners, apart from Revolution, but I spoke to them before we went out. And take me hat off to you. The setup, the Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the parties in between it all, the breakdown on the Sunday night, the travel and back in work. I don't think a lot of people realise how much hard work it is being in an exhibit. It's hard work just walking around, being in that, but to talk to customers, set it up, break down,
taking my hat off to all the partners, but I take my hat off to every exhibit, every stand up at the Spannabis show.
Yeah, it takes some doing, doesn't it?
Well done to everybody.
Yeah.
Great show. If you didn't get there this year, make sure you get there next year. So I've written down some questions for you. What was Spannabis like? I'm just busy. Amazing. Very, very good. Did you see anything worth mentioning?
Lad, I've seen loads, you know.
Have a think, because I'm a little bit ahead of you. I've written some of the questions down. So while you have a think, I'll see what I thought was good. The BioBiz stand, really nice. BioBiz is organic. It was made of wood. The whole stand was made of wood, I should say. Lovely big LED screens. I think they've just changed like some of the branding on the bottles. Phenomenal. Really nice stand. Barney's Farm, which is right next to BioBiz, was also great. I think Barney's Farm is probably one of the nicest stands. It appeals to me. Orange lit up. It's square, made a big pyramid of wood. It's the same style every year, but just a gorgeous stand with good people. Actually met the marketing director from Barney's Farm. He's from Newcastle originally, lives in Spain now. Really nice guy. Gave me lots. Didn't know who it was, but when we were filming in there, more than willing to open up the private area. He said, sit down there, take some videos, take your footage. And then once we'd finished there, he said, so what do you do? And he's really warm and wanting to ask questions. So I was made up with them. Really nice team of people. Another one is Puffco. Did you see them walking around? The new vape pen, the CBD THC vape pen. They were the ones that stood out the most. There's probably loads there, but Puffco, it was just a really nice, scientific looking, very professional, slick, gorgeous stand. So I was very impressed with Puffco.
I think if we go next year, I think I'll go a day early, because there's that much to take in. You forget about some of it, you know what I mean? There's that much to take in there.
Yeah, we'll go on the Thursday next year.
It's hard to go to every stand and
spend good, genuine time with people.
And see what they're about and see what they've got.
We were working there as well as me and you were walking around trying to do stuff for the shop, see new people, see our friends, catch up with people we don't get to see that often. The lads from the NPK media, they were all out filming. Friday, we got there Friday, so we didn't manage to do anything Friday, but literally non-stop Saturday until 5:30, non-stop, just film. And I was thinking, maybe just a half a day on the Sunday, but it ended up being pretty much a full day on the Sunday as well. It was non-stop. So if you didn't get to go there, keep tuned into YouTube, subscribe, and you'll be able to see the videos that we've got coming up in the next few weeks. Slim's Nutrients. Slim's Nutrients. I fucked up there, haven't I?
Slim's Nutrients. Sounds Nutrients. Good, though.
Slim's Nutrients. Oh, it's got a ring to it. I like it. But it may as well be. It's Snoop's Nutrients, but Slim is the UK ambassador. And, he's like a distributor as well. Distributes. But he's the UK ambassador for it. And the reason I picked up on them is because Slim, one of my best friends in the industry, always, he came onto the boat party. It's just great to see Slim. But the product on their stand, the banana skins with the auto grinder.
That's what I was going to say. That was one of me.
Oh, was it? I'll let you go on. Tell them about it.
Great.
Tell them about it. No, because
I'm going to have a you buy one?
I bought one. Yeah, I bought one. It's sick.
Yeah, boss lad.
So when you go to when in Rome, so when in Barcelona, where there's a lot of coffee shops have come up recently, you get to partake in activities that you don't and cannot partake in the UK. Because it's illegal. But in Barcelona, they have coffee shops. So obviously, I've heard a lot about this cannabis. So I thought I'm definitely going to try some. And I'm shit at rolling. Okay? I'm going to tell you all, I'm shit at rolling. Because I don't roll, because it's in the UK. Then went to Barcelona, don't know how to do a good one. So I got the banana skins. And you know what? I can't for the life of me think of the product now. But basically, it's a grinder for dickheads like me.
What was it called? Give me the V.
Oppo sounds good. Oppo sounds good with banana skins. So basically, you go to a coffee shop, which is legal. You buy a small amount of cannabis, which is legal. You take it out of the coffee shop and go to somewhere private, which is legal. And you put it into the grinder, which is still legal, but the grinder is gorgeous. It's silver, very sharp, gets every bit ground down. You put it in. Close it, put the clear plastic tube on the bottom, and it's got pre-rolled split.
Where they call cones or something?
Cones,
like that.
Pre-rolled banana skins, cones, and then you just press a button, and it's got little measuring cups so that you can see how much weed you're putting in to fill your cone. When I was over there, I don't smoke tobacco, so I hate that. It hurts the back of my throat. So this is just raw joint, blunt. So we put it in, pack it out. It was phenomenal. It's great. There's certain parts of Barcelona I can't really remember that well because I've fucking forgotten, but it was great. And it is phenomenal. So an amazing piece of kit.
That was one of my best things that I've seen.
How happy was I when I found that? Because when you're over there, you've got to, like, when you do ship blunts, then you've got to ask other people to do them, and you're kind of reliant on other people, which makes you look like a dickhead. I was like, move out the way, pass the weed, ground it in. Fucking everyone was using it, wasn't he? Everyone who could roll well was using my machine. I was like, get off it. I might start charging for it when we go back to Barcelona next year. I might rent out my grinder. It's a good idea. So what else was it? That was a fucking great piece of kit. Anything else?
Like I say, there's that much there, lad, to take in. It's hard. You know what I mean?
Did you see anything, Josh, when you walked? I know you're knee deep in media shit, but
I don't know if you'd mentioned it already because I was just kind of looking at the cameras. But the Botanica stand.
Oh yeah, I'm about to.
Okay,
that's
the next one to mention. All right, there was just loads of people. There's too much. There is way too much.
I think you need another day or two.
It's a process.
You're half running around the fucking place. You know and you catch things that catch in your eye, and you're like, well, what's that? What's that? And lad, you miss loads, lad. It should be on for a bit longer.
Some stands that you probably, the people you like, there's loads of people I didn't get to see, so I'm sorry if you didn't get to catch up. But there's loads of people you don't get to see, loads of stands that you don't get to see. You just got to get out there. Like, get out there and enjoy it. The weather was phenomenal as well.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was just a brilliant weekend. So, that's everything worth mentioning. Did you learn anything? I've put down, the industry is growing explosively. Like, that was, I feels like it was a double the amount of people and triple the amount of exhibitors that were there. So the industry, the hydroponics industry in the UK, well, we've just had the Hemp and CBD Expo in Birmingham. That was busy, and that was a lot of professional people, a lot of people in suits, along with just a completely wide variety of people. Then you've got the private AutoPot festival. Then you've got Product Air and the Hydroponic Expo the weekend after. 2 weeks after that, you've got another Hemp and CBD Expo. The industry in the UK is growing phenomenally, but in Spain and Europe, it's growing. Like, it's big business. Like, I'm about to go to Switzerland in a few weeks, next month, see what's going on there. Barcelona is just incredible. So I learned the industry is like, it's moving quick.
It's on the up.
It is on the up. Any other thoughts? What did you learn anything from there? Apart from toffee churros are better than chocolate churros.
What?
The toffee churros.
Yeah,
oh God,
they had some nice food stands on there though as well, didn't they?
Got to be having they? Very competitive food in there. GHE, General Hydroponics Europe, different from General Hydroponics in the US. We've got to make that difference. Is changing brand to Terra Aquatica. So I thought to put that out there. GHE is a really good range of nutrients. It's 3-part, and it's changing to something called Terra Aquatica to try and differentiate itself from the GH Hawthorne-owned nutrient company.
So it's changing its full name?
Changing its full name to Terra, from GHE, General Hydroponics Europe, to Terra Aquatica with a completely different logo. The recipe staying exactly the same, with just different bottles, different logos. So that's a big thing to point out that got revealed at Spannabis. Before I move on, let's just see if there's any comments here.
There was one that was like right at the start on this one. Can I give that to you?
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but it's just popped out. As far as time to harvest, is it worth taking out the terminal bud at around the 4th intermode development?
So read that again.
Does that all make sense? That's an actual real thing? Okay, I'll say it again. As far as time to harvest, is it worth taking out the terminal bud at around 4th intermode development?
A 4th intermode?
Fucking hell, you've lost me.
One more time, because in terms of...
Yeah, as far as time to harvest... Is it worth taking out the terminal bud at around 4th intermode development?
Who the fuck has asked that question?
I don't know.
Tell me, what's his name?
Who asked it?
His name is Just Popped Out.
Just popped out.
I think he's just popped out of NASA.
Yeah.
just pop in the shop and see us, lad.
So the way I've read it is that in terms of harvest on a tomato plant, would pinch out the nodes affect it? Will pinching and topping or doing anything to the plant is going to stunt the plant. So you've got to, if you're doing it for a reason, like you need to stunt the plant to increase horizontal growth rather than vertical growth, then yeah, it's worth doing, but it is going to delay your harvest. And doing it after flowering, after the first week of flowering, I wouldn't be doing any sort of topping or pinch note, any of the nodes. Definitely in veg, it's a very good technique, but it will delay the harvest, absolutely. But the delay of the harvest is counterbalanced by horizontal growth. So if you're lacking in vertical height, then the horizontal will, you'll need horizontal growth. So it just depends on what you want to achieve. But yeah, it will delay harvest development.
That just went right over me. The words were just too big.
To be fair, I had to hear it 3 times.
Development. Fucking hell, lads. We're talking about a plant.
Apical merystems and all that. Fucking hell, people trying to catch me out now. I'm going to have to get back into them books. Zerf1 from Instagram said, when the new AutoPot valves touch the UK, will they need new pipe and tees as well? Yes, they will, but it will all come as part of the pack. So basically, it's
just the same as the other valve when you get a pack.
So if you're in week 2 of flower with your normal AutoPot, then everything's going fine. So I wouldn't change that to put this new valve in. So just get to the end of your cycle, and then if you're going to run thicker nutrients, then you'll get the new valve. But I think it's not going to be people running AutoPots now. You're all doing fine. You shouldn't be getting blockages, so you can crack on with your system. When you do come to change it, then you can upgrade. But it's mostly for people that are using things like Bloom Bastic, which is a really thick PK. Anyone that's using something like Hydrotop Sut, which has got a lot of organics to it, or anyone's using a full organic range, they're the people
What's that one by? Is it by Obiz and it's like glue? What's that one?
That is the...
There's one in it's
like the additives now.
Fish, maybe. Top Max. Is there any of them? One of them is dead thick.
Oh, it's like the seaweed. It's quite thick, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. But it opens it all up for them. So yes, you will. But it's really only going to be for newer growers that will need it. What else will be back? So hello to everyone that's been joining on Instagram and on YouTube.
What's that?
Oh, Grandad NPK said they're actually called air stewards now, not hostesses.
Smart ass.
Mm-hmm. Garden Alchemy wants an NPK media hat. What's the chances? I will be in Nottingham actually next week. I'm going to bring you on. I'm going to come and see you next week, Garden Alchemy. So yeah, next week.
I've got one here from Joshua Close. Does the pH runoff matter if it's high? And he's gone underneath using cocoa feeding, going in at 5.9, runoff around 6.8.
So, no, that's in veg. That's absolutely normal. In veg, the scientific answer is that when plants uptake nitrogen, then mostly it's calcium nitrate or a type of nitrate. So when the plant absorbs it, it's got to release a negative, it's anion or cation. It's deep science and I can't think of off the top of my head. But as they take up nitrogen, then they put something back in to equalise the soil, but they release acidic ions back into the soil. So
it raises
alkaline ions back into the soil. It's positive ions, and that will increase the pH.
Did he say he was in veg or flower? Or is that on flush?
Let me just ask him. Only happened when using CANNA, now using veg and bloom and problem gone.
Yeah, to be honest, it's not a problem. The veg
Bioheaven.
Bioheaven
is the BioBiz one.
Thank you very much, Josh.
That's Jeff A.
Jeff A, thank you very much. The thick one.
But it's a Boss product, Bioheaven. Boss product.
The reason it doesn't happen in veg bloom, that pH drift, is because it's pH stabilised. This is the difference between certain nutrients being pH stabilised, CANNA A and B. It's not as essential to pH in CANNA A and B because it does it for it's really well stabilised. Other nutrients that you don't know or haven't used before is worth pHing because you don't know what's going to go on with it. The drift in veg will happen. DWC, you see it all the time. It happened in flower.
Yeah.
That's a big swing in flower. It's not the end of the world. I wouldn't be stressed about it myself. I wouldn't start trying to counterbalance it because you'll probably cause more problems by trying to counterbalance it.
But did you say that he's fixed it by using veg and bloom?
Yeah.
Because it's a balanced and it's a buffered nutrient. Might happen a bit more with nutrients that use certain types of nitrogen because it'll have to release more. I'd say if it's the first 2 weeks of flower, that's acceptable. If it was week 7 of flower, it is a bit too much, but it's not something I'd personally want to start messing with because you're probably going to cause more problems. BudBox says hello on Instagram as well. Hello,
yes,
guys.
lad.
Let's get through. Yeah, Phil Hydroponics said, good move, AutoPot, bigger bore for the win.
Yes, Phil. I miss Phil, you know, at Spannabis. I phoned him, you know.
He was there.
I know, but I phoned him and he was out the way. Doing what you do in Spannabis, but wanted to see him.
How will Brexit, so someone's commented, how will Brexit affect Cali prices? It won't have any effect at all because in California, Cali prices will stay the same. Yeah. So it is what it is. Oh, Josh has been playing. Josh listened to the news.
The phone thought you were OK Google, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's what I've been meaning to do for ages. Get on this. OK Google. Hey Google. OK Alexa. Or something like that. I'm just wanted to set off everyone's Googles and Alexas. What's Alexa?
You told it to do something. It should have just said...
Hey Siri, play Spice Girls. OK Google, play Spice Girls. What's Alexa?
Just Alexa.
Alexa, play Spice Girls. I've been wanting to do that for ages because now everyone's Alexa, Siri, and all that stuff will start playing Spice Girls.
Keeps
happening on every time I'm watching YouTube. Yeah.
It'd be funny if it did it on my phone now, wouldn't it?
What are the questions?
Coach needs to start putting it at the beginning.
I've got to the end of the questions there, so it's back onto the podcast. We'll answer more questions at the end of the podcast now. So, what did we learn? Botanica. They had a lovely stand. It was like an American diner, looked really good. Reason I'm bringing it up is because it was a lovely stand. We all know, people that listen regularly know my opinions and thoughts on Botanica, but I do try and remain impartial. If you've got a lovely stand, I will say so. So Botanica did have a gorgeous stand. They were giving off free slushies, like an American diner, really sociable. I think if more stands looked like that, Spannabis would be even bigger.
That was like next level shit.
It was really nice, yeah. What to look for next year? More stands that have a better social aspect or games that don't consist of a spinning wheel or a fucking lucky dip.
Oh, lad.
How many spinning wheels did you see?
How many fucking spinning wheels can you do?
Like, every year there's been spinning wheels everywhere. It's like, that is a lucky dip, but all I hear walking around is... You've won a pack of seeds.
Yeah. You've won a feed chart and a pen.
Yeah. You've won an additive. I'm like, fucking hell. And there's like people getting proper waked up over this shit.
What's that company? Begins with an H. Hesi, is it?
Yeah, Hesi, Hesi.
Yeah, lad, you should have seen the fucking queues
for that place,
mate.
Did you? What were the prizes?
The prizes are just starter packs or additives or t-shirts, bags or a bag full of fucking feed charts and pens.
It's mental what a spinning wheel can do for you.
You should have seen the fucking queue for it, mate. It was unbelievable, lad.
I'm going to do something completely different next year, Spannabis.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to get a spinning wheel because they're all up vertically, aren't they? They roll around like a car wheel. I'm going to turn it upside down, turn it into Wheel of Fortune and just do Wheel of Fortune. That is thinking outside the box. Think different, please, eh? Like, some of you have got full of marketing teams and you're still going with the spinning wheel. It's pissing me off now. Playground done something nice, didn't they? Coatsy last year jumped into the big ball pit of Playground and they film it and they get all slow-mos and they get action shots as you jump into the big ball pit. That was quite fun.
Gold label, is it the A group or something?
Yeah.
Like that? Is it,
they have one big stand, the A group, which consists of Gavita, Gold Label, Global Air
Supplies.
Blackjack. Did they? Yeah. It's not too bad, is it, Blackjack? It's a bit different.
Right.
Did you win?
Yeah, straight away. I'm sure it was rigged, so everyone won.
Yeah, everyone gets a prize.
Yeah, everyone got a prize. Look.
We should change it to money, shouldn't we, in front of them? As always, lots and lots of seed companies, a lot of head shop products, a good selection of nutrient companies, and a smattering of hydroponic kit stands.
Which
smattering? Just a few bits dotted around everywhere. If it was up to me, it would be lots and lots of hydroponic kit stands, a lot of nutrient companies, a little bit of head shop products, and some seed stands. That's my personal preference. Do you know what I mean? They're not that exciting seeds, are they? When you're just looking at them. bit boring.
Don't do nothing, do they?
No, just sit there.
Just sit there.
Yeah. You can flick them on
They
the
have a name
side.
tag on.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, this is the big question for Spannabis. Will High Times buy Spannabis? Because they're about to, and I've heard that they haven't yet. And I'm thinking Spannabis owners are going to be like, okay, we like maybe, I'm going to say doubled our visitors because that's what it felt like.
Lad, I promise you now, they doubled it. I promise you now.
So
I've
they're
never
like,
seen nothing like that before.
Excuse me, High Times, come back to the table, please. We need to renegotiate this shit.
Yeah, just make sure Spannabis renegotiates the price as well, mate.
I actually thought High Times had already bought it, and that's why it was so much busier.
No.
It could be the High Times promoted it because they're like, yeah, Spannabis. But apparently they haven't bought it yet, so there's going to be maybe a renegotiation. But if High Times do buy it, make sure you don't fuck it up for next year because this year was really good. Either keep it the same or make it better. But by making it better, they could fuck it up, couldn't they? Just keep it the same.
Yawn, then?
Why? What?
He's a murderer or something, you know. He didn't yawn.
I'm not tired.
He didn't.
It's only if someone empathises with you that they yawn with you. It means if they care about you, do they yawn with you?
He didn't.
There's the truth right there.
Cheeky bastard.
I don't empathise with you, Barry.
I yawned right at him and he just looked at me.
Like, why you yawn?
Ned Flanders.
Okay, Lily okay. Yeah. I didn't yawn because I'm not tired, but now I'm talking about it. I can feel the yawn at the back of my throat. Right, let's move on quickly.
Let's get to this Brexit.
Eric Columbe's on YouTube as well. I've never seen him pop up on this.
Oh, what a great suggestion. Hook a duck for next year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's better than a spinning fucking wheel.
Oh, make them spinning wheels with my fucking head in the end.
Looking for Hope said, wanker, I just had Spice Girls on a speaker. Yes. I'm just looking at the comments for everyone listening on the podcast. A lot of people say they already bought it last month, but I've been told by somebody that spoke to the Spannabis organiser that's not been signed on the dotted line. And BudBox Grow Tents said that numbers were up this year by about 6,000. 6,000 extra people.
So how many people went last year, though?
19,000. This year, 25,000. A lot of extra people, that, you know, mad. But that's pretty much it. Come next year, if you didn't make it, it is an experience. It's a big experience. So, Spannabis, it's in Europe, Barcelona, part of Europe. So that leads us on to our next point.
Is it part of Europe?
It is part of Europe, yeah, it's Spain.
See, look, I'm just going to tell everyone straight. See this Brexit, I know nothing about it. I am proper wet behind the ears.
And what happens when we first get into work? Every morning, we make a cup of coffee and we put Sky News on. Just our ritual now.
I don't watch it, you know. I just sit there looking at it, waking up. I do. So it doesn't sink in.
All right, okay. So when we're talking about what's going on, you're just still waking
sit
up.
there and just look at you and nod and go, yeah.
I do the reverse and sort of fall asleep as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Tell me what it's about. I'm
Brexit. Okay, so in a nutshell, everyone knows that Brexit is about the United Kingdom leaving the European Union.
I know that.
Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell.
I know that.
We had a vote, didn't we, 3 years ago, 2016, on whether we should. It was pretty much 50-50. Now, the people that voted leave, I can understand. I can see both sides. I can see why people voted to leave, because there was... They think that there's an immigration problem, and the people that wants to stay just wants to stay because he wants to remain the status quo.
Yeah, I know that little bit about it. I think at that time there was that much in the papers and on media and that about immigration that people thought, oh yeah, we'll vote to leave, and then it stops everyone coming.
Yeah, and that was it. Didn't think much.
But I thought that was like, tell me if I'm wrong, Josh knows a lot about this kind of shite. Is that right, lad? It's been manipulated a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's been manipulation.
I do know about it, but I don't know, like, when we leave, I don't understand this fucking deal, malacha and that. I just don't know why they can't sit down at the table and go, yeah, man, I want this from you, that from you. Well, I can't have that, can you have this? And
like a proper divorce.
Yeah,
like
so to make
you've been trying to do,
the dog, you can have the car, and I'll have the house, and you can have the yacht. And
To make it relevant to the people listening, the reason that we're talking about Brexit, and we're going to go in sometimes a little bit not about the hydroponic industry, just about UK in general, because it's going to affect us all, is that a lot of our products, CANNA is Dutch. We get it from the Netherlands. So we leave Europe and we leave the customs union. Josh needs to jump in if I say something stupid here.
All right, sounds.
We leave the customs union. So at the moment, we're part of the European Union. We get free trade with not free trade, but we don't have tariffs. We don't have extra payments on top of what it costs for the products. It comes and goes. It's really freely moving. Yeah. Now we leave Europe and all that ceases to exist. We remain on ourselves. We're a separate country like China, Russia, the US, the United States, and we make our own trade deals. Now this could be good, could be very good for Britain, but it could be very, very bad. So the cost of CANNA could go up. The cost of can filters could go up. The cost of
most stuff would go up, wouldn't it?
Well, it is, yeah, because anything that we buy from Europe is definitely going to have import taxes and tariffs on it. Now, people think anything from Russia, China, America, Thailand, and I mentioned Thailand because of the revolutions made in Thailand. That's where they're distributed from. They think, oh no, that'll all be fine. But what happens is that Thailand, with the revolution microelectronics, will export their light to the European Union, to the EU.
I know what that is. That's the Rotterdam effect.
You did it. If it went out to the Rotterdam port, it would be.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. It's the
wrong.
Rotterdam effect wherever it happens.
It's the Rotterdam effect.
You've been dying to say that.
Yeah.
You like that?
I know the Rotterdam effect, mate. I know this, mate.
So they would, the European Union, they would essentially sell to a country within the European Union, and the European Union has got a trade with Thailand and says, then the tariff for this is 2%. So we would buy in, and it would cost us 2%, some like amount of money. We leave the EU, and now we haven't got a trade. The European Union had a trade agreement with Thailand, but we don't have a trade agreement with Thailand. So now Thailand can say, right, the tariff now is 4%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're talking about millions of pounds, it is a lot. So we're now paying extra 2% on products coming in from Thailand until we can negotiate our own tariff. Here's the problem though. European Union is a big country. It's got a lot of money. Its pot is big. So it can use its muscle to get the best tariffs for the European Union countries. Britain by itself, although we've got amazing resources and amazing people, some would argue the best, we have not got a big pot. So we can half be bent over a little bit and shafted.
Nah, we're a good country though, aren't we, Josh?
Mm-hmm. But we're not as good. Country. We're not as big. We haven't got a bigger pot, and we haven't got as much leverage as the European Union.
No, I understand that. But like, as far as like, what is it, Josh? Economy or something? Did you say before?
In terms of the economy, which part? In terms of the tariffs.
Yeah.
So, Steve, what we just talking about.
See, I don't understand. This is what I don't fucking get, lad.
Yeah.
Is like,
ask you questions.
See the way you've just said, yeah, we haven't got a trade agreement.
Yeah.
Why can't someone just go like that? Yeah, what's happening, mate? Yeah, well, how much are you charging this day, kid?
Because
there
how
you go.
much? 7%?
You'll say it
back.
Because
what's happening, lad? Don't you want to do it for 5%? Like, come on, mate. Sort your shit out, lad.
So there's something called what's the three words? The global trade. What's that?
What World Trade Organization?
World Trade Organization. So there's rules. So you're allowed to barter to a certain point. But if Thailand said, you know what, Britain, I really like you, we're going to give you 2%, that's technically illegal, because if they give us 2%,
they've got to give everyone else.
They've got to give everyone else.
That's fair, dude. But is there a tariff on the maximum they can go to?
You get like you're starting to get into in-depth questions, but essentially comes down to they can't give us preferential treatment.
Like a politician then.
They can't.
How's that an in-depth question?
Look, it's in-depth, and isn't it? I can't answer it. That's what I mean.
Well, right. Well, that's all I have to say.
Like that, you've gone too in deep for what I've.
But if there's a tariff for the lowest point, then surely there should be.
Yeah, there'll be swings and roundabouts. Yeah. But if Thailand give us a 2% tariff, they have to give Russia and country A, B, C that same tariff.
So then, what's the tariff on them other countries now?
So let's say it's 5%.
So we know we're on 5%.
But now we're worse off because European Union did 3%. That's the basic gist of it.
Yeah, we knew this though when we were coming out. So whatever the lowest percent is.
Or here's the other one for you. Russia with Thailand has already got their little trade agreement. So we now have to negotiate with Thailand. That'll take a year, 2 years. That's how long the negotiation.
How?
Because it's politics.
That's a
It's
fucking
bullshit.
joke, lad.
Because it's world politics, isn't it?
It's
In
more
2 years,
than,
lad.
it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because depending on what a country is selling to you, so you're trying to get like a service standard to make something easy. So if you're aiming for 6%, 6% of their gold industry might be worth a lot more than 6% of their car industry. Do you know what I mean? So they have to kind of balance it out so that they make a profit, because they're profit-making countries too.
Yeah, but
Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean? If you put
So-
6% on anything, and it's big numbers you're talking about, if you're talking about, let's say, 100 million and it's 6%.
Okay, so let's say you're only going to buy 10 bricks of gold, but you're going to buy 100,000 cars. If you're going to buy 100,000 cars, you're going to get more money back than you get for the bricks of gold. Do you see what I'm saying? So you've got to find a percentage that is good across the board when you're selling, when you know what your imports are going to be from each country. It's like if you go into, I've gone into Apple before, and I'm a serial negotiator when it comes to haggling in shops. And if I go into Apple and say buy a load of computers for a company, and I know I'm going in there and I'm going to spend $8,000 on a few bits, I'll always try and push it and try and get myself a lower percentage or some sort of discount. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're going to shop around with all these different countries, but they're not just Apple. They're more like Amazon, where they sell lots of different things. And so we have to negotiate a price and a percentage for each of those, or almost for each of those things, or things as a main block.
How
Do you know
can
what I
we
mean?
turn around as a country and say, we're going to need, let's say, from Thailand made fucking cans of Coke and they made Apple phones, yeah? How many cans of Coke do we know we're going to drink, so we can't negotiate it, can we? How many iPhones do we know that we're going to buy off them?
We know how many we bought last year, and we can kind of predict based on what people have, like the sort of the projection. So the new iPhone's going to come out next year, and when it does, like everybody with an iPhone, two phones ago will upgrade. So when you look 2 iPhones back, you'll go, right, okay, so like those X million people are going to upgrade to this. So you can kind of gather what's going to happen from past sales.
A bit of a guesstimation.
It is a guesstimation, yeah. In the same way as we were saying the other week about one of the wholesalers, where if you know something was being, you got 50,000 being sold in a day, why would you only get 50,000 the next year if you know that you ran out of them?
Also, what you've got to remember is that it's not just Thailand that we've got to do a deal with. We've got to do a deal with all the South American countries, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Russia, China. So that's why it takes so long, is because it's backwards and forwards. You've got to go to those countries, you've got to send the diplomats, you've got to come back, you've got to negotiate, it's got to go to Parliament. Sorry for Instagram, because I keep on getting WhatsApp messages, keeps on stalling. Just to put it in a nutshell, it's super complicated. And the impact it's going to have on the hydroponic industry is that worst case scenario, no deal, Brexit means it's all up in arms. Eventually, we'll get ourselves back on the feet. I'm not worried at all. Britain will get itself back on life at the minute. Britain will get itself back on its feet. But in the short term, the prices of non-British products will go up. Now, I've spoke to, what does this mean for the UK industry? I've spoke to some wholesalers, in particular, Highlight Horticulture. What have they done to negate this? So they stockpiled. They've stockpiled all the key brands that come from outside, that come from within the EU, so that when we do drop out, they're good for however many months, so that they can then start slowly introducing a price increase if it needs it, or there's a buffer so they can say, listen, in 2, 3, 4 months' time, the prices are going to go up. Start warning your customers. So it gives us a little bit of time. So if you don't shop with Highlight, start shopping with Highlight. Also, for shops and for growers, be a little bit on the ball, because this could mean, for shops, this could mean that wholesalers are going to start saying, it's an extra 5% on this. So just keep your wits about you. Start doing a bit of shopping about. I don't want wholesalers to use this as an excuse of, let's get an extra 5% for these next 2 months. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then when Brexit does come, so trying to take the piss out of shops, we all need to be on the ball. We all need to be in this together. So if there was so what I think is going to happen is, let's say there's a 2% increase. The manufacturer, someone like CANNA, might absorb 0.5%. The wholesaler, like Highlight Horticulture, will absorb 0.5%. The shop will absorb 0.5%, and the end consumer couldn't absorb 0.5%. We split it all evenly between us, and nobody really feels the pinch that much, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that's too much of a simplified effect, but that's what I'd do. Someone's mentioned on the comments, and I'll bring it up, is Intense Nutrients. Now, Intense Nutrients are a British-made nutrient manufacturer. So this leads me on to a podcast we're going to be doing in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
British product.
Might even do it next week because it's relevant to what's going on. And then in the next week to 2 weeks, we'll know if we've had an extension on Brexit so we can negotiate longer. Next week we might do a British products podcast. So the reason that we would do a British products podcast is that we maintain profit margins, we support British products. The British companies that I've already spoken to, I've spoken to Budder's Tree today, and what they've done is that any products that they get from within the European Union, so one of their key products, they use an ingredient that comes from Germany, so they've stockpiled that, so they've got a buffer period of a good few months so it won't affect them. So everyone seems to be doing the right things. Everyone's stockpiling. Everyone's getting ready for this Brexit. So I don't think it's going to have a major effect.
The stockpiling coffee.
Well, Grandad NPK said, "Where do we buy our coffee from?" That's
Argentina.
South America, isn't it?
Yeah.
Argentina, isn't it?
That's South America.
Yeah. See, like, I'm fucking brand new.
I don't know if you might get coffee from Argentina, but you get coffee from basically it's South America,
Argentina, isn't it?
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah. But it all comes through basically like Cuba and places like that, the Panama canals and.
So Josh is worried
stuff,
because if the price of coffee goes up,
I can't afford it as it is. I won't be fueled. I can only work one job.
So, yeah, I know what fucking job that is, mate. I'm actually, Josh just give me a heads up. I'm going to get him to sign a contract.
Do we know
if coffee goes? I'm just working for NPK.
Do we know what the percent is that it's going to go up, or thereabouts figure?
It's not going to be massive in terms of the end consumer. You're looking at between 2% and 6%. Like the car industry, meat, dairy, they're going to be fucked. Like, that's massive increases. Like, your price of milk could literally go from £1 to £1.30, £1.40. Not a massive increase, but think of the farmers in Britain. Like, food is going to be massive.
Basically, everything's going to be a Freddo.
Well, go smaller in size and triple in price.
Yeah.
Someone else.
I had a boss question for you before. What was it, Josh? Remember? And you went, no, wait. What was that?
I think it was something to do with why. I think you've kind of answered it in your other questions. Yeah, why it was like why is it better that we're in the EU in terms of these tariffs now, and it was just purchasing power, the amount of money they've got against that, and so it's already kind of been answered.
So I've just written down some things. Basically, when we're part of Europe, remember of the EEA, European Economic Area, the European Free Trade Association, along with its 4 already existing non-EU members, Norway, Liechtenstein, Switzerland and Iceland. So those 4 countries aren't part of the EU and have set up agreements.
And are they doing all right?
Yeah, they seem to be doing great.
We'd be laughing.
I think we'll be okay. I'm not as panicked as... I think there's a lot of scaremongering goes on. But with governments, especially European Union, I just think... Like, the best example is the marketing for... leaving Brexit.
No, I look at it, lad.
The NHS will save 30 billion a year. No, it fucking won't.
Were we all right before we got in it?
In 2001?
Do you mean in Europe?
Yeah.
No. We were in a sorry state of affairs. We owed so much money to the US. It was ridiculous. We'd just come out of World War II, and they were trying to figure out how we were going to sort of stop wars just based on resources. Yeah.
The European Union
like
was
the 1970s, wasn't it?
2004. No, sorry.
Yeah. No. But there was
Union.
It just migrated. It was one organisation, then it was another. Like the ECB, the European Central Bank, changed to in 2001 when the euro came out. But Europe still existed. Like I think there was a vote in the 80s on whether we should stay in Europe. There was another referendum. And
Calvin Harris said it best. It was acceptable in the 80s.
It was. Lots of stuff was acceptable in the 80s.
He's just talked about the 80s, and I just said Calvin Harris said the best. It was all acceptable in the 80s. No, it's
so we were fucked before we got in it.
Yeah,
we weren't fucked.
Yeah, no, we were. My
dad didn't.
We were plunging right into the latest recession of the time, but that didn't. It wasn't. That wasn't the main reason.
You was going to say, yeah, we're fine before we went in.
Yeah, we were fine in 1914 or something like that. We were doing great, and then World War I came, World War II came, and then everybody got together and said, should we stop having these world wars because America's the richest country now?
Fucking hell, Josh, you just blew my head off.
That's what happened.
Barry shit himself. No. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be.
Do you know what they say? They say remember history so that you know not to make the same mistakes. But
We've never left the European Union, though, have we?
No,
This
no,
could
we
all
haven't.
be
But
one
we
big
can.
joke, and we could be
let's
doing
say
How
we
much
left
a
the
week?
EU and the EU shattered. Let's say it all fell apart. Then we'd be in the exact same resource position that we were always in. What we've been doing is sharing resources, sharing people, sharing knowledge, sharing science since pretty much the inception of the EU. Sharing counterintelligence, sharing all those things, and they're all coming into question about whether we can still continue to share those competitive advantages.
Do you want to sit here?
No, sorry, lad, sorry.
My fucking head's falling off with him.
I think that there could be a lot of scaremongering going on, and just look at the way we were not pushed into voting for or against Brexit, but
Lad, I think it was manipulated that we voted out with all the immigration shit on the telly.
it went heavy on immigration.
Yeah,
and
they
it
went
did
heavy
not,
on immigration, and people just thought they're taking my jobs and they're taking my houses and they're taking the money out the country. In fact,
to be honest, you know, I seen. So one of the things that had me swaying towards coming out of Brexit is that in Liverpool there's certain groups of people from the European Union that, and I've seen this firsthand. In the post office, when you send in your parcels, they will get the benefits, and on another card within the first minute they will then say send it all back.
they'll stay at the counter, draw the money out what we've given them,
and send it back
send
to their country. And it's like they'll make you a tenner for themselves and send the rest back. I was looking at it going, wow, that's like benefits money. This is supposed to help you and your family live, and you're sending it back home. It's like, surely this can't work. Now, at the time, I'll admit, I was like, I had a problem with those people. I was like, you scumbags, taking money out of our country. But now I'm like, the government's the scumbags, because anybody would do that. If you could go to another country and get a lot of more money and send it back to your family, you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
you do whatever you take to look after your family. It's the government that allowed this to happen.
So get me if I'm wrong. I know it's our country and they're taking the money out of it, but isn't it staying in our union?
Exactly, it's staying in our union. That's what it. That's
and
why
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
But that's how it happens anyway. So for immigrants, so the sort of first generation Africans, Indians, whoever like sort of is coming from, not I can't say Africans and then say a developed country because it's a continent. But let's say you're coming from a poor country in Africa, and you've come here. Your family have tried to get you here, like they've give you their money to kind of get here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And so you're the person who now needs to breadwin, because there's so much money to be made here that any surplus you've got will mean much more to those people at home. Yeah. So it's about looking after your family where they are. And people like you might not see it because they're not going and drawing out the benefits or whatever. But any Western Union shop, if you stand there and look for too long a time, you'll see people from nations outside of the EU taking whatever money they've made here and sending that back, whether that's through payments or benefits
anyway,
or it's going to happen. It does happen, and it's been happening for years.
But to bring about that point, that's what anyone who's voted, I won't say everyone, but the majority of people who voted to leave, it was all about immigration. It was all about the taking our money, in inverted commas, and that's not once did I see people talking about money, the state of the car industry when we leave, potentially the state of the agricultural industry, our industry, the hydroponics industry. It wasn't talked about. So, having said that, I think that we could be being manipulated a little bit now, because I think the European Union is going to make it seem like doom and death, because they don't want us to walk out, do all right for ourselves, and then every other European country like Germany, Spain, France, they might go, you know what, we might actually be better out of this European Union. And then that's what the European Union doesn't want.
Germany was one of the first countries, anyway.
Yeah, one of the first countries to adopt it, because they were just trying to please the rest of Europe.
So there's a lot going on. I've written down as well, Theresa May has assured those already living or working in Britain that they will be able to remain in the country legally. But in the event of no deal, restrictions or requirements for new migrants could come sooner than planned.
But also, the EU have said that British expats, according to each country, will be allowed to stay in the countries that they're living in too. Yeah.
And there are almost 1 million people from Poland living and working in Britain, and it's one of the largest recipients of remittances. Polish migrants working there sent home more than 1 billion in 2017. Wow. So did migrants from France and Germany working in Britain. So, you know what? There's I'll say now, it feels like you're pushed, and the media pushes you, because Romania and Poland and Albania, if you said those people are sending money home to their families, you think, oh, well, why these? Like, because you think of a bit more of a impoverished country, but then so did migrants from France and Germany. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you say, if you saw a French person withdrawing money or a German person and send it home, it feels like you'd have a different attitude.
You wouldn't think about it. You'd just think you were getting about the business.
No, that's what I mean. I think everyone's been manipulated. People who don't know too much about it have been manipulated thinking that them people, Polish, Romanian, and that, they're coming and invading and taking our money and sending it home to build their big houses. But like I said to you, though, when I have, like, why we're in the EU, it's still in our system, that money. Mm-hmm. It might be out of our country, be in Poland, but it's still in a hole.
Can British people in the European Union working in Poland or Lithuania,
whatever country you want,
they can get benefits?
Whatever country you're going to, you can be allowed to access whatever the benefit says in the system. It's whatever you're basically an EU citizen. So you're a citizen of whatever country that you go into. There are like sort of differences. You'd have to like register for social security in their countries, and depending on what their country's welfare system is, that's whatever you can access. Do you know what I mean? You can work there.
Do we have one of the best welfare systems there?
In Europe,
yeah.
I think it's the most, or it previously was the most inviting until we brought in universal credit. But that started coming in 2012. That was already an agreement. People had turned around and said, "Look, we need to stop the way that people are able to just come over here and access benefits." So the government went back to Europe and they turned around and said, "Okay, we're going to change. We're going to alter our directive, put it into law that that." This is how we're going to do it now. Someone has to either have a certain amount of money, they have to have the prospect of work or some way of supporting themselves or assisting themselves. Is it? I don't even know that.
Yeah, Australia is like that, isn't it? You can't get into Australia.
It's hard to get into.
Oh yeah. So we were already getting there anyway, but it was just kind of used. It was kind of the beating stick. We haven't got there yet. The universal credit's only really just been fully rolled out in October of the year just gone in 2018, and it's just messing people up. But that's by any new change in a big system is going to do that. Yeah. Those things were already being implemented. It's just that they were a little bit too late for what they were saying in the media.
Mental. From just chatting to wholesalers and British manufacturers today, I don't think that there's going to be a whole deal going on for our industry. The one thing I am concerned about, and what I haven't done is I haven't researched this, so this is something that I'm asking Instagram if you know, or YouTube if you know, or people listening on the podcast on anytime from Sunday. Do you know? So the UK now is legalised medicinal CBD. Now, I don't know if that was a UK directive, like it was a UK government pushing that forward,
or the EU decision,
or whether the European Union have allowed UK or made it easier for them to do it. So I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to leave?
Because there's a lot of EU countries where it is legal, isn't it?
Spain, it's legal. We've just been to Barcelona. It's fully legal to
tolerated in cultural associations, isn't it? So
medicinally and recreationally. Mm-hmm. Amsterdam's a little bit different. It used to be. It's a little bit harder. They've still got the coffee shops, but it's a lot harder, isn't it? You don't have grow shops in Amsterdam anymore.
No.
Malta went CBD medicinal in August or September 2018.
And it's recreational there, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Argentina, you're thinking of?
Oh yeah, Argentina. Making marijuana tea and stuff like that. There, aren't they? Proper.
So Turkey's done it.
What the question I'm asking is, I've just been to Barcelona. I've just been to Spannabis. I've just seen their way of life with the coffee shops, the legalisation of, or the tolerance of smoking cannabis in your private estates, private houses. So I really enjoyed that pastime. It was good. So I'd like to bring that over to the UK. I'm not a big fan of alcohol. I drink alcohol. But you go out to any city, town on a Friday, Saturday night, just look at the people that have drunk alcohol till 2 o'clock in the morning.
They're all fucking battering each other, or they all go home and have fucking murder with the birds. They've got hangovers and all that.
Hangovers the next day, spent a lot of money, danced like fools. But I can dance like a fool without alcohol, so that's not really that good a point.
But what you're trying to say is you put 100
100 people
who
in
drink
town.
put 100 people
All
in a room,
different-
all
yeah, yeah,
different people, gangs of lads, gangs
Ages.
of ages, whatever you see in a nightclub, and I guarantee there'll be at least
fight.
2 fights.
Yeah.
Put a load of stoners in the room, and they're just all going to get stoned.
It's going to eat cake, aren't they?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of
drink cans of coke.
There's going to be a lot of love in that room. So
if our government can't see that, we're fucked.
It's because the taxes.
What taxes, lad? Let's just have it out.
The taxes on alcohol are
amazing. No one's telling them to get rid of alcohol and open coffee shops instead.
So if they
open coffee shops, there'd be fucking major money to be earned out of them. It'd create jobs, wouldn't it? Because now we need it to smoke, don't we?
Would there be?
Would
the sales of alcohol drop?
Why would it?
Because I know if I was allowed to smoke cannabis like I did in Barcelona, recreationally in the UK, I'd drink a lot less.
Yeah, but some people don't smoke. You don't drink, and when you go to them places, you like to have a drink. Yeah. Well, I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker either. But in the same breath, they open a coffee shop, I'm now going to start smoking.
I think alcohol sales would drop.
No, I don't think they would. And to be honest,
well, the alcohol industry thinks it would drop
let's
because
just put it in a nutshell. There is people in Britain, wherever, that do smoke cannabis on a daily basis.
Yeah.
The government aren't getting the tax for it.
No.
It's black market shit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the money that they lose on the alcohol is only going to outweigh. Do you know what I mean, Josh? Mm-hmm. If they legalised it now and made coffee shops in Britain, and let's just say the margin's there on the tax on the alcohol, well, I reckon if that dropped to there, that's just going to go right up anyway. So I reckon they'd be getting more fucking money. Mm-hmm. So to my eyes, they're all just a gang of fucking fools. Mm-hmm.
I reckon dry January has done more damage to bars and restaurants than anything else.
Possibly. There's got to be a monetary reason why they haven't in the UK legalised it, because recreationally they've done it medicinally with CBD. Now I was listening in the news this morning actually that medicinal CBD, even though they've legalised it, is really hard to get a prescription for.
Lad,
really hard.
Do you know what you've got to do?
No.
You've got to go right through every other drug, which they make tons of money on. Yeah. And when that doesn't work for you and you're on death's door, then they go on, we'll let you try it now.
There you go then. They make tons of money on all the other pharmaceuticals.
Exactly, yeah,
so if you've got free access to cannabis, recreationally cannabis, it would become free access. You could make your own medicine. You could maybe make your own CBD. So now the pharmaceutical industry is now lost a lot of money. There's a monetary avenue somewhere.
Billions of pounds of debt, isn't it?
Which is
the pharmaceutical.
Nah, it's in billions of pounds of profit.
Then that's what I meant. Yeah. So they'd lose loads of money. But lad, it's in that same breath where, lad, I'm like a realist, me lad. We could all have something wrong with us, touch wood, none of us do. But we could all take the same product, the CBD, yeah? And it could work for you, and it won't work for me, and it might not do.
And it'll do a little bit for Josh.
Yeah, it's like a fucking paracetamol.
Yeah.
Could work for your headache. Mine could get fucking worse, and Josh, fucking hell, that keel's over.
But, like with paracetamol,
people have
got side effects.
Under like an illusion.
With paracetamol, there's potential side effects. If your liver damage, if you take consistent paracetamol, is ridiculous. Kidney function goes down the pan. CBD, there's no known side effects. The amount you would have to consume, so it's a really safe.
Yeah, it's a really safe product, but it just doesn't work for everyone.
No,
it doesn't.
But what we need to do is we need to explore the avenues.
No, it's not explore the avenues. You should be allowed to try it, mate.
Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah.
You can buy paracetamol in the fucking home and bargain.
So to bring it back around, because we could go off on a major tangent, to bring it back around to Brexit is I will support anything, because I'm a big advocate of medicinal CBD, 100%. And I believe that the THC has got medicinal benefits as well. So I'm a big advocate for going in any direction that increases our chances of allowing people access to that type of medicine. If that means staying in Europe, then I am a stay. If it means leaving Europe, then I am all out to leave. That's just, and I'll take the hits with the wins. If it means that the car industry suffers a little bit, we will find a way. We will adapt. We will overcome. Some people will lose jobs. Some people get access to medicine. That means that the 4-year-old child isn't having epileptic seizures. There's like the people who work in the car industries now might be thinking, "You fucking bellend! I could be losing my job next week." Put the other shoe on the other foot. someone's 4-year-old son's no longer having 50 epileptic seizures a day because he's got full access to his CBD medicine. So that's just my opinion, and it probably the people listening be a lot of their opinions, because you're in sort of our industry. If you listen to this podcast, you're probably on the same wavelength as us. So it's the balance scale. Some people are going to lose the job. It's shit, but you'll find other jobs. Some parents are going to be able to have a child that don't have epileptic seizures anymore. In my opinion, you'll be able to find another job. In my opinion, CBD's working for these mums and dads, for their children, when no other pharmaceutical medicine is having a good impact. So that's my thoughts and opinions.
No profitable medicines.
No profitable effect, yeah. So I am for whatever allows us to legalise, well, it is legalised, allow us easy access to CBD medicine. I believe that recreational cannabis is much more tolerable and less of a destruction than alcohol. So that's my opinion. And I am for or against Brexit. I don't know which one it is, but I will go down whatever route allows
I
that
don't
to happen.
think, honestly, that you'd have a choice. Do you, Josh? What's your opinion on that? Do you think that decision to leave Brexit was already there? Because the way I look at it, and lad, I don't know too much about it, but we had this big vote. We voted out, and then it went to a vote in Parliament. Well, no, mate, the people of the country's fucking spoke here, lad.
Yeah.
We've all said we want out. So why the fuck are all you sat round the fucking board table debating whether we should go? We've all just said we want to leave, lad. We pay this country. Does you pays the money for this country, isn't it?
How many times have
all the taxes and all the fucking rates and shit like that. So if we say we want to leave, we're fucking leaving, lad.
How many times have you made a mistake that could affect the next 100 years of your life?
Won't be in 100 years.
Exactly, but your kids and your kids' kids will be.
But lad, that's...
So that's what you should
but what they should have done then is they shouldn't have fucking asked us. They should have fucking told
agreed.
us.
But what they were doing was they realised that people were sleepwalking into the future, essentially. It was, nobody knew about democracy, nobody engaged in politics. Half the people I know didn't even vote. Do you know what I mean? They were looking at me as if to say, why is he walking in there? Voting day. Why is he voting? He's a bellend. Russell Brand, don't vote. Everybody wasn't voting. Do you know what I mean? So what they thought was that David Cameron didn't want to really do it in the first place.
Vote, if no one votes, your vote goes to the person that's in power now, doesn't
it? That's a completely different thing. A referendum on this occasion was yes or no. There could have been a third option, like, why are you asking us? Do you know what I mean? We haven't got a clue.
Can I just say, because it proper tickled me there by Doobie. He said, I'll show you a fight, put 100 stoners in a room with one Mars bar, you'll see two.
No, but it's like, I don't know, it's all fucked up, lad, isn't it?
It is. Like that, I'll honestly
say...
Why
couldn't they have said, this vote coming up, why couldn't they have just put 2 simple papers? I know it's not simple, lad, and I know it, but they could have just... They talk about it to the public, and lad, any normal Joe public like me, and I don't, Steve's a bit cleverer than me, isn't you sound dead intelligent on it, lad, but I'm like, I'm building shit when you're watching shit and reading shit, you know what I mean? I'm just a different person, and that's fair, but why couldn't you have just made it simple and said, right, here's how it is, we're going to do a TV programme tonight, it's going to last 3 hours, it's on Channel fucking 1, it's going to tell us the benefits of leaving. And the next night we're going to do another 3-hour programme, and it's going to be the benefits of of not leaving and leaving. Yeah. Why couldn't you just make it simple for the public to say?
Because you wouldn't have watched it.
If you vote leave, immigration isn't going to stop. If you vote leave, this isn't going to happen. And then people will go, oh, I was only voting till some all them immigrants didn't come in.
People did, but you were watching the wrong programmes at the wrong time. And one thing that we've learned about the vote,
programme there's not, lad, because we're the fucking public, we're the people who run this country, so to say. So it should have been a public announcement to say, all be in your fucking houses at 6 o'clock on Friday night, and we'll tell you the benefits of leaving. You know what I mean? And then be in your house on fucking Saturday night at 6 o'clock, and it's a public announcement. You know what I mean? This is what's happening. You're telling us you want to leave, and all us in here, we deal with all this.
I agree. You know, what they should have done in another perspective is just gone like, let's shut down all the social media. Let's just push this message out and give that to everybody 1984 style. And that could have worked. But that's not going to happen, because at the same time that they were running a programme on the European Union or Brexit or World Trade Organisations, everybody was watching X Factor. That's what people were into at the time, and that's the actual problem comes from social media. In fact, with the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal, what they were doing was they were looking at the things that we all like, and they were deciding based on what you were liking and the sort of the subjects that you were liking. So let's say if you were looking at stuff that said about you all know the one. It's the one where the pensioner gets less money than the immigrant, than the illegal immigrant. So, point in case, illegal immigrants can't get any money. They're illegal by definition. So, all those posts, if you liked any of those posts or someone tagged you in any of those posts, you would get sent a certain stream of adverts, a certain stream of posts, things that geared you towards Brexit. So, it wasn't just about you sitting there and watching a 3-hour program. It was about your psychological likes and dislikes and the quick way that you're using the social media. That was part of the big problem. It's a part of the reason why Trump was brought in. There's this whole big case. If you don't know about that, it's the same reason you voted Brexit. You weren't watching. I wasn't really watching because my head was still spinning from 2016.
I didn't vote because I'm just under the impression it doesn't matter who fucking votes me.
Exactly. Well, that was part of the problem.
That is part of the problem, because probably, but I just think
you're not a democracy until you engage in your politics. So in the American Constitution, it says that essentially they wanted to write in that you shouldn't be able to vote unless you actually know what you're voting for. And it's on you. We created this country. We create the society. We create the government. So it's in our responsibility to engage at every point from walking out to our door in the morning.
Listen to us, does it?
They don't listen to us because we only speak as one single person every time. We write petitions of 100 people. If we stood up and said something in a group of 20 million people, they'd have to listen because
you know that there'd be retaliation. That is
France.
Because we're all shit houses, lad.
Yeah.
That's the problem. We're all shit houses in this country.
And we won't go down there and tell them straight.
You. How many people out there is there who want CBD legal?
Many.
Well, when he signed the
petition, I know it's
several petitions.
It's so many times. Loads of petitions, loads.
No one's listening, no idea, lad. Don't waste your fucking pen and paper and your ink.
They did listen for medicinal CBD.
But how long did it take?
Forever.
You don't know if there's the financial benefit. You just went, you know what? We stand to make quite a bit out of this now. There's a few comments coming in from Instagram about basically British Sugar. Victoria Atkins, MP, former drug czar, husband is managing director of British Sugar, i.e. Sativex, and Theresa May works as the financial investor.
Theresa May's husband.
Yeah, Theresa May's
she's the financial investor.
Yeah.
So it's all just, I think we've said this on multiple podcasts, it's not really, it isn't up to us.
It's not up to us.
We can shout and we can bang the drum. And I think
and they just go
for any activists out there, though. For any activists out there,
unless you're French and you do it properly,
and you wear a high vis,
exactly.
That's it.
That gets it. So remember our big sort of petrol strike in 2000, where you could walk down Smithdown Road zigzag and not get hit by a car. Like that stuff happens in France on a regs. Do you know what I mean? If they're not happy with the price of petrol, they just get it brought down. If they're not happy with wages, they just get it brought down because their government knows that they're willing to revolt.
Yeah, we all need to revolt. Everyone listening, revolt.
Now you just
don't revolt. Don't incite a riot, please. I beg you.
So let's do with the revolution, though.
Brian's just messaged me and said that we're on overtime or what? Yeah. No, you're not. You haven't done anything all day. So you
I think it is time to wrap it up. Otherwise, I'll go on and
we've all got to go.
So, if you've made it to the end of this podcast, then well done. I hope we were interested, because the thing I was nervous about with Brexit is Spannabis at the beginning was obviously interesting. I hope we've maintained your interest for Brexit. I want to just say thank you to everyone that's been listening on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. Everyone that's joined in on Instagram. If you've got any quick questions in the next 2 minutes about any thoughts or opinions, we'll answer them. And
remember to like and share, innit?
Josh is like that, look.
Every week.
He's trying to...
and share.
You do the voiceover for it,
okay. Everybody...
He's got one of them voices anyway.
So
do the voiceover, you ready?
I don't even know what the voiceover is.
Just say everybody like and share and I'll do the lip for it.
Everybody like and share.
That was quite good, wasn't it? I had smoothie, chocolatey tones coming out of my voice then. Yeah, please do. The podcast's doing really, really well. I'm made up with the new amount of subscribers and new people listening from around the world. I absolutely love the messages that we get on Instagram at NPK_hydroponics. If you listen, like, it literally does mean the world to me. We do this podcast because we love it. If nobody sent a message in, it wouldn't bother me. But when you do send it
would.
No, the fact
It
that
fucking
because I
would.
didn't nobody sent a message in to me for 3 years when we first started it. We do it because we love it. But you know, when the fact that people listen and watch live on Instagram, watch live on YouTube, catch it on the actual podcast, which sounds much better. The fact that people listen to us is phenomenal. But when you send a message in and just say, listen, it's great, I'm made up that I found you.
Best
really
be
good
listening next
information.
week because I've got a boss giveaway.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then it means a lot, really does. So thank you very much for all the people that send in messages. I want to do a shout out to Looking for Hope 1967_soulmates. They've been listening since day one. They come to the AutoPot Festival with us. Adam has it on his big screen at home, so he watches us. He's watching us live right now. And that was just a little message. So he sent us last week saying that you always watch it. So thank you very much for being a loyal listener and follower over these many, many years. Really appreciate it. Next week, I think we are going to do Best of British. There's not... Yeah, I will do, because it's going to take a little bit of research and a bit of planning, speaking to a few people, but I think I've got pretty much of a free week apart from work. So we'll do that next week.
Best of British giveaway.
Best of British giveaway. Okay, so there's a giveaway. We're going now. If you've been listening on the podcast, enjoy your car journey, or wherever you're listening. Thank you very much for watching live or afterwards if you've watched it. Instagram, love you so much as well. And we'll see you all next week for Best of British
giveaway.
Giveaway.
Do it, Josh. Giveaway.
Giveaway.
He needs a fucking part in this, you know.
He's got his mic set up now. It's a three-way.
Ask Josh. Right, going.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you later.